fellow watching and enjoyers. It is I, Piggy, and I'm joined by Ash. And today, we're
Hello.
going to bring you another edition of the Watching Walford podcast. It's episode 116. Today's episodes are going to cover the biggest storylines. It's actually 117, sorry. Today's episodes are going to cover the biggest storylines and takeaways from week 13 of 2025. All the episodes from the 24th of the 3rd all the way to the 27th of the 3rd, or as I have here, the 27th second of the 3rd. So
Just 1 month behind.
And how this goes is there'll be the introduction, and I'll quickly just give the topics out. Linda goes on a date. Phil and Nigel support each other. Avanni, Lily and Amy get into trouble. Awards, and then the after show. And I might be a little bit sick. So if I sound very nasally, like an Irish representer, now you know why. So yeah, I'll just very quickly gonna just pan to Ash so you can see his face if this is your first time, and I can just say hello, and then I'll get right into it.
Hello.
There you go, the camera's on you. Anything to say?
I'm in a well.
Oh, he's in a well. Okay, I guess I get. Oh, bloody hell! Everything's changing. So let's start this off with Linda goes on a date. Linda goes on a date. So why does Linda go on a date? Well, we first on this episode get to know that the Queen Vic will be reconstructed. Wow, can you believe it? The Queen Vic will be redone. That was news to my ears. And
see, they should just blow it up all over again. Who needs the Queen Vic? And as that one YouTuber said, every episode takes place in the pub, so it's about damn time they got what they wanted. EastEnders is a joke. You did your bit.
Yeah, it'd be funny. Just imagine sitting on the bog and then the whole thing explodes. Just like me granddad when the bulldozer came flying in towards him on the bog.
Exactly.
Exactly, which is true, lads. Which is true.
Did help. Probably did help.
It did. I did. It was probably the easiest one he's ever pulled. I don't know if he has pulled recently. He's been dead for 11 years, but still. Anyways, continuing on. Yeah, they got the permission. What is it called? The refurbished money. The insurance money.
Got insurance.
Yeah, the insurance money. They're just like, I've got one thing to say to you, lad. I love you. Wow. So she gets the money. Well, they get the money, and then she talks to Junior, and then George awkwardly goes, "Teddy, come here, mate. Come on. You want to be part of the family?" And
I've got Teddy instead, boys.
And they go for Teddy instead. And like Ash said, Elaine is going to make this pub look dirty. And I mean dirty good.
Absolutely filthy.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
I both want to know what it's going to look like with Elaine designing it, but I also don't. Like, it seems cool, but also it's Elaine and she has terrible taste. So, like, but then again, could it be any worse than Linda? I don't know.
I don't know, but I was just imagining pink everywhere. Like the bathroom's pink, the pubs is pink, the pints are pink, which I just want.
Why not?
I just want to say, I know St. Patrick's Day was last week, but did you see that Americans were dyeing their pints green?
So sounds like an American thing to do.
Like, I'm like, I get the whole thing with Ireland. You love Ireland because we did practically build half America. But why would you they dye the rivers green? They dye their pints green. I'm like, we just get a leprechaun going around here going, "Cheerio, lads. How's it going?" We got Big Bird on a bloody quad bike. Like, Jesus, we don't do much. But anyways, continuing on.
And we don't. I mean, most of just UK is just like, fucking hell, it's time to drink. Way.
They just awkwardly go, the Irish. What a bunch of lovely lads. We never did anything wrong to them. We never did. Those 800 years never happened. Don't you worry. Nothing bad.
You
Nothing
don't
bad.
even think about it. Nothing happened.
It's just Men in Black. They're trying to wipe your memory. Just nothing ever happened. Don't you say it did? Because I found out that apparently English don't even teach about Irish history, which is fair enough. But
No.
fair enough. I thought like you would at least go, yeah, we were a bit of a dick during the famine, you know. But fair enough. You want to come across as the good guys. So continuing on, like Elaine consults Teddy, and I'm waiting for this pub. I'm waiting for this glow up. I'm imagining the.
I do miss it. I do miss the Vic.
Yeah, I do too.
It is a character in its own right.
Do you reckon?
One thing that I do kind of miss about the Vic in general is how obviously after COVID, it's not just the COVID thing. It's probably just like you don't really want to. When back in the day, in like 20 years ago in soap, obviously all the pubs would be full, right? Because ultimately you want it to look busy, and it's also just just get people sat in the background. Easy, they're getting paid anyways. But obviously, because money's getting a bit tight in the soap world, and you don't really want to have all these extra like characters in the pub. And if they are just sat in the pub, like they are just paid to be there, like they're paid to sit around all day. They don't really pack them out as fully anymore, which kind of sucks. And I kind of miss because it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. I miss when the pubs were jam packed.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say you missed when the pub was massive, like when Deno.
No, it doesn't need to be huge.
What happened to it? Did they just shrink
it? Needs to look Yeah, they shrunk it through time. It just needs to be more populated. Is my
fair enough.
That's all I want.
Fair. Oh, I've got an itchy nose. Oh no, I'm gonna quickly just leave it to you, and you continue on while I just.
But yeah, essentially, Elaine has got the stranglehold on the decorations, and she will do. She's not listening to anyone. Essentially, it's not really been a big story, but she will do exactly what she feels is right, and not ask anybody else's opinions. This leaves Linda left a little bit alone. She doesn't really know what to do. She's out on a Todd. She initially tries to set up Johnny and Felix, which kind of works, kind of doesn't. Johnny gets angry, and then afterwards they do actually start talking. And Kim just goes, "Hey, look, all right, all you need to do, you need to go on a date." And so Linda does. She does go on a date, and it's quite underwhelming, and she doesn't really like it at all. Yeah,
she goes on a date, so I had to sneeze there. Well, I don't think I even sneezed. So she goes on a date. She just kind of crawls up because obviously, I know they're rewriting history to an extent that Mick and Linda were the be all end all. You did cheat on him with Max, so
yeah.
So were you really the be all end all? You had more rough years than good years in soap world.
I mean, not Mick and Linda though.
They just
they were always meant to be together.
I know, it's just weird how like over time every executive went, wouldn't it be funny though we put Mick with Janine? Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be hilarious? How about Linda with Max? Wouldn't that be hilarious? If this is your
you just can't really do anything about it. Is the problem?
If this
like sometimes you are at the end of the day you are getting paid by these bosses. You've got to if you actually fight away from it, you get labeled like hard to work with. Like, it's always just a struggle.
It's like if they're supposed to be the modern day Dan and Angie. I know Dan and Angie is the worst example to use.
Yeah, they are much different.
But if they're supposed to be like your like landlady and landman of the Queen Vic, just don't split them up. But yeah, I get it. Like, it'd be funny. It's just not an executive producer. They're the same executive producers that killed off a bunch of wasted characters. But anyways, like, yeah, Linda goes on a date. The guy's like, I just a guy who has fun, really.
And he is quite boring, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's just boring. And then Linda's like, I need to leave. She gets a chippy, she goes home. Elaine's like, go and watch the telly, and then she walks in and Johnny's slipping his old sausage to Felix. Which I know they're only kissing, I know, but Jesus. On that couch, in that sitting room.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like, are they gonna, like, if Felix is leaving, which he probably is, because we know
I
he's
mean,
leaving.
they already pretty much expressed that that Felix and Johnny are they're shagging. That's it. That's all it is. They both know that. That's the only expectations they have, is that they're going to blow their beans.
Because I thought they might just have Felix leave with Johnny. Just Johnny and Felix leave.
No. I mean, I still think that Johnny is just tied to Linda, really.
Yeah.
Like, he was he wasn't going to be recast just so they can ship him off in a year.
But
like, they clearly had, well, they had a slight vision for this Johnny, and it was just about being
sexy.
Linda's son who would protect her. But
yeah,
you don't just recast him for no reason. Is the point being?
Yeah, I do.
Ironic saying that Michelle Fowler 2.0 existed, but didn't happen.
Yeah, I do want to say that I do like this Johnny, but I had to do a Google because you told me once that the first Johnny was in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. He was Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Or he was Leatherface. I keep calling him Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, he was Leatherface. Despite it was an awful swerve. Honestly, it was fucking awful. It wasn't a great movie. Because you know what happens when you don't really you want to make a horror movie and you want to put your own stamp on it. So it's an origin story, guys. And so instead of it being the guy who fits the bill of Leatherface, a slightly larger guy, slightly heavier, some developmental difficulties, some problems. Called. I think he was called Bud. Is he Leatherface? Nah. Nah, it's this other guy. Great, she is. Here's a guy who doesn't who doesn't look like Leatherface at all. He's Leatherface, lol.
I believe Jason. I was supposed to Jason Ventura, but that's his name. Jason Voorhees. I believe his mom or some relative is getting an A24 series. So
fair enough. Might be interesting.
So I don't know if you're excited to see another great ruined franchise for you again. I mean, it
would be nice if they actually fucking do anything. The issue with a bunch of the horror stuff is the only horror movies that are actually the only slasher movies as such that are actually getting films are Halloween and Chucky. And Leatherface to a lesser extent. They're like Jason, Freddy. They're in the fucking boonies doing nothing. Like, if they at least get something to do, because every time it's like, oh, don't worry, guys, we're making a new Jason movie. Oh, it's been cancelled again. Fucking get something out there for Christ's sake. It's been like 15 years since either's last film came out. It's mental. Halloween and Saw. I've also missed Saw as well, but like Halloween and Saw, they're making bank, and Freddy and Jason are just a relic of the past waving at them.
Well, I mean, you say Saw, but Saw 11 got cancelled, so
yeah.
I'd reboot Saw because it's just at that point it just becomes like, oh, it's a prequel because we've killed the guy off in movie 3. Spoiler, by the way. And it's just like, it's a prequel.
No, he's back now. He's back.
Yeah, Saw's the only one that I like because it's the one I watch. It's not really a horror film. It's more like I can't really describe the vibe, but it's more like a psychological. I was going to say psychological, but I don't know if that works.
It's kind of just gore.
It's just kind of gore porn, you're right, but it's more like, it's not really a horror, you're just like, why is he doing this? Is he just fucked up? Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how it's like how in the first movie, and just trigger warning, this mentions suicide, in the first movie, I don't know why I'm laughing at this, the reason why he has trapped this guy, I think, and put him in a bed of razor blades, or surrounded him with barbed wire, is because the guy was cutting himself, and then it was like, yeah, why were you doing that? Well, he didn't appreciate life. Yeah, but he was depressed. Why are you doing it? But I loved Saw 1, 2, 3. I've seen the first three with Rose and Laura, people that I'm friends with, and it was just it was great. But yeah, I just Jason Voorhees, just Jason will never get a new movie, and when he does, it must be worse to be a horror fan than a sub fan, because you'd be like, oh, it's my favorite franchise getting a new movie. It's a prequel. Yay! It's a sequel prequel. Let's go.
Don't worry, guys. We're gonna go ahead and don't worry, guys. We're gonna go ahead and make a new movie. Oh, it's been cancelled. Okay.
I mean, I'll get back to these things in a second. I am a bit interested in this, so yeah, just let me have my moment. But isn't like the Friday the 13th franchise? Isn't like the rights all like scattered because like?
Oh, it's all fucked off. It's all at different points.
Like, cause
it's just been. I think it's been reverting from like Blumhouse to like, I don't remember who has the rights now, but
yeah,
it just goes back and forth because they don't do anything with the fucking franchise.
yeah,
it's Paramount, and then it went to Warner Bros. And it just shits about the place.
yeah. It's like, because that's what I knew. Because obviously the Friday the 13th game was very popular. I don't know what the timeline is of who owned it at the time, but when I got swapped, they were like, we're cancelling the game, and it's like, people love the game. That's where the California dance comes from. Like, people just doing their dance in that game, like when Jason would try to catch you, and I'm just like, if you don't want to use,
it just meant like 2009, 2010, Warner Bros had it for about 5 years. Oh, they had it till 2013. Then Paramount got the rights to Friday the 13th. They were looking to make a movie, but it was going to be a reboot, and it was all going to change, and then they never fucking released it. But then it went straight back to Warner Bros. Again. Then there was a lawsuit, and don't worry, they're thinking about making a new movie. Not happening. Don't worry, and hey, they're finally doing a fucking prequel. They're finally doing a prequel, but it's just a mess.
yeah, like people just laugh at like horror films are easy to produce, but then when you look into the rights, it's like, why are you so petty? Why?
It's an absolute shit show, honestly.
Yeah, it is. Like, the only one I'm glad, like, I don't watch it, but I've seen the third one. But Terrifier 3 was a good movie in my opinion. The Chainsaw.
I mean, Terrifier 3 is an example of a someone who is not he's not going to sell the rights to anyone. It's his property. He owns it, and he's not even going to sell out to studios. It's his fucking thing. He's going to make all the money, and everyone else can get fucked. You know, Damien Leone, what a legend.
Yeah, I just
love Terrifier.
Yeah, it's
Part
just
of the clowns are part of the fucking slasher villain Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. Who would be your Mount Rushmore?
A Michael Myers t-shirt right now, but
who's your Mount Rushmore?
I mean, it's just typical. It's typical. The only thing that's not typical is Art the Clown, but then you have Michael Myers, Freddy, Jason. And if I really want to be wanky, the kid from Silent Night, Deadly Night.
How about Freddy versus Jason? How about that? 2003.
Never seen it, I'll be honest.
Good. Let's keep it that way. I did shit myself while watching it, but it was a decent movie. But don't go back and rewatch it. It's literally.
Well, they try to make Jason the good guy because they kept showing his eyes, and it's like there is no good guy. They kill people. They both kill people. They're
Yeah,
murderers.
yeah. It's
There's nothing good about stabbing a knife between someone's eyes.
like
Like,
from what I remember, yeah, Jason is the good guy, but he's also the bad guy. Like they're both the bad guy, but they want you to root for Jason. I think
yeah.
there's also it's my favorite hoax because he came out and said it was not true, but there was a rumor for about 20 years. By the way, this is a wrestler. By the way, that Rey Mysterio was apparently a stunt double on the set of Freddy vs. Jason, but he came out like 20 years later and went, I was not, lads. I was nowhere near that movie. I'm like, imagine that though, Rey Mysterio just hey, in the middle of like doing it. But yeah, it's just our movies.
I like our movies
What
at the end of the day. Like slashers.
Yeah, I'm not
Michael
really
Myers
into
did
slashers, but I did watch Saw and I did watch Terrifier 3. I don't know what other ones I've watched. I've watched an indie movie with Ewan Slater, which I don't know what it's called. But the car just falls on top of someone. Then he comes back in the second movie. I've watched a Christmas horror movie as well, but that's mainly it. Saw is my favourite. If I had to pick though, I love Billy the Puppet. Won't buy him in Fortnite though. He looks horrible in Fortnite. Anyways, back to Linda on a date. Speaking of horror, yeah, she walked in on Johnny and Felix, who were definitely just shagging. And she then Johnny just goes in and goes, "Yep, shagging." Steals a chip, and it's like, "We're not dating, we're just shagging." And that's pretty much the end of that. It's literally it.
Yep. Linda looks forward to go, all right, maybe I should just try and move on. You know, you're not going to find another Mick, but you don't need to get married. You just need to have some fun at the end of the day.
Maybe don't find a Mick, but find a Mickey. How about that?
Exactly.
Yeah. And now, topic number 2. Let me just timestamp this. Topic number 2 is Phil and Nigel support each other. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, obviously, if you don't know, Nigel has dementia, and Phil has some tendencies, some not so savoury tendencies. He wanted to pull a certain weapon out and put it between his eyes. I don't know if I can say much because we were mentioning horror films, ads like slashers. I don't know if I can say like if I can overuse the term gun. But if you don't know, he was trying to shoot himself. And if this gets demonetized, I don't care. It'll be alright. But yeah, he basically uses a gun and tried to kill himself. Yeah, and basically he's like, "No, I'm going to a support group," and I'm just like, "I'll go with you." But he has an appointment for a doctor, and everyone on the square is like going, "Hey Phil, welcome back from Portugal. High five. How's it going? Who's the man? Who's the man? Oh, come here, give me a nookie, all for the cookie." And he does. Everyone's happy that he's back, and then basically, yeah, he does his support group, and then Nigel's like, "I have to do my shift at the cafe," and like he keeps getting everything wrong. I believe one of the plates he done wrong was someone wanted beans, but he put tuna on it. Oh, horrible!
Yeah, in a jacket tater.
Oh, even worse.
Nothing wrong with it either.
I will try it though. I will try it for Big Nigel. And then Phil's like, "Yeah, you should just take time off. You are sick." And he's like, "I'm sick. You're the one."
He's trying to get him to, he's trying to get him to slow down, but Nigel is refusing to slow down. And even though he knows, he does know, he's just putting it off. But yeah, as of with Phil just being like, "Nigel, you should, take a step back." So, why would I do that, Phil? And then Nigel just like, "Yeah, well, at least I didn't do what you did." And just exposing the truth about it to the cafe. Big Mo's got a donut, drops it. Everyone now knows what Phil tried to do.
My favourite thing is because we cut to the next day, which mainly because Tuesday's episode's about Avani, which we will get to. We cut to the next day, and then Phil's walking through the square. The Big Mo, like as much as I love Big Mo, this I was like, "Oh, come on," but I think she did the right thing. Like I think like they did the right thing with Big Mo, where you're just annoyed at her. Because she goes,
Yeah.
"Big Phil Mitchell gone woke. I'm having these mental health problems." blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, calm down. But everyone now knows Phil's secret, and everyone's gossiping because obviously the hard man of Walford is not the
Yeah.
soft man of Walford. Well, not my words, but the words of most of the people on the square. They can't comprehend like how this big, strong man can be such a weak, in quotations, man. And yeah, so that's basically what happens throughout the week. He goes boxing, I believe, in the first episode. He goes boxing.
Yeah,
I
well,
some.
it's just George doesn't know how to. George is trying to figure out how to. Oh, my throat's absolutely shagged. George is trying to figure out how to get through to Phil. Phil still doesn't really want to talk. He has a talk with Linda, and he just kind of goes, "Look, it is just quite hard to talk, isn't it?" Just like, yeah. But then, yeah, goes to the boxing den with George, and George kind of like coaxes him out and like, go on, let's spar then. Oh, you think I'll slow? I don't know, just basically calls him a pussy, and they then start sparring. It did actually look like quite a lot of fun, and they just kind of get to grips with going like talking about it and opening up, and it's quite nice, honestly. It's genuinely quite
Alton.
wholesome, yeah.
And then basically Phil cooks food for Nigel because the one thing I should say, a dementia person shouldn't be allowed near a cooker for obvious reasons. If you really are clueless why they shouldn't be allowed a cooker, well, if they can barely remember their name and can barely remember where they use the toilet, I don't think they're going to remember where they can put where they put the buns. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a word of advice. Do never. If Gran goes, look, I want to make beans, you go, Gran, you sit in that chair, you're not making beans, Gran. That entire microwave's going to explode. You're not making beans.
Yeah.
And Phil, I'd assume, has burnt a sausage. Because the Nigel picks up the sausage, and I don't know why it made me laugh, but he's just looking at the sausage, and then George walks in and goes, "Oh, what did that sausage ever do to you, Phil?" Like, what? That's I don't know why that buckled me. I'm like, I'll eat the sausage anyways, why not? And yeah, because Phil's not really a good cook, is he? He's not really.
No, he's a very get it done kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, and then he basically just says, "Here's some flyers that I'm thinking of doing for the boxing day." And
It's like it's kind of over 50s like sparring night, just to kind of hopefully. It's like having a men's club, right? It's just for men to talk about their problems if they want to, and if not, just spar. Which is those initiatives are always quite cool.
Yeah,
and it's always good to have it because as we've kind of as you should be used to it by now, there is a big problem with men over a certain age not actually talking about their feelings due to the circumstances they were raised in. So it's always good when you actually get to sit a bunch of these guys down who do have the mentality of I'll work through it, I'll get through it until it gets too much. And it's always nice to see these initiatives. So good on George.
Yeah, good on George. And that's it really. Now it's time for the last topic we have before we get to the awards. It is time for Avanni, Lily, and Amy struggle. Not struggle to get into trouble. Sorry, I can sense struggle a lot in these notes. So yeah, what happens? Well, basically, Amy tells Lily, "Look, we need to go to school. Come on." And Jack goes, "Amy, stay away from Avanni. Her parents didn't raise her.
He's got bad family values."
Yeah, whatever that means.
Which it just sounds like some casual racism, really. But yeah, obviously it's because Ravi's a drug dealer and Priya's got a reputation.
But yeah, he did sound mildly.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be the first time you'd have a problem with like parents.
No. But yeah, and they skyve off school. They decide Lily needs this. And generally, it's quite a nice day, all in all, as they are just kind of getting to grips. They all talk about grief and like losing parents and losing like grandparents and how it all like hits different. And they will go through different stages of grief, talk about counselling. It's just a very open and honest conversation between the three of them, where they're trying to all get through What are you doing in that chair?
What?
He's just
So I'm trying not
he's
to breathe
ducking
into
from
the
camera.
microphone because obviously my breath
Fair enough.
is a bit heavy, so I
Fair
don't like.
He's just like
So I'm kind of like,
having
you're
having
talking.
a dog.
So while you're talking, I'm just kind of like over it. Like I'll just turn my camera on me. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of like, there we go. No one can see me.
But yeah, and genuinely, it's quite a nice little conversation, and it's all going well until they decide let's go on the tube, and at the tube, a dealer, I don't remember his name, shows up and offers to sell Avani some drugs because she did buy some vapes off him once upon a time, and he sees the police and he drops the drugs at her feet, and then 2 police officers show up and go, what are these drugs doing? Clearly your drugs on the floor at your feet. Clearly your drugs. And so this quite nice day of getting over grief and struggles turns into a nightmare as they take Avani, Amy and Lily to the police station.
Yes, and at the police station, as my co-host was saying, Amy is like, okay, what is your name? Amy's like, I'm not telling. And then Jack comes in and goes, her name. They go, oh, they recognise you because I have a photo of you on my desk. Blah blah blah. Jack just tells Amy, go home. You're grounded. You know. Lily gets interrupted by Jean. Jean comes in and it's like, la la la. Just briefly, because I'm not going to really mention it further. My little bit I wanted to bring up was when Eve confronts Jean and like she's like, I'm gonna tell Stacey, and then Jean just turns around and goes, don't you dare tell her. And I'm like, holy crap, Jean, Jesus. I was genuinely like, I was afraid she was gonna pull out an AK-47. Like, just bloody calm down, Jean. Like,
yeah, just like, don't you fucking dare tell her. If you do, I will hurt you. So, Christ.
I mean, Jean can't really hurt her. Let's be honest.
Obviously, it's mostly just there because Stacey's on maternity leave, and this is the excuse.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the whole point. But yes. But yeah, then it gets a bit darker because Amy and Lily are both released, but Avani is still held, and the tone starts to worsen because she doesn't cooperate with the police, and they pretty much get it authorized saying, all right, we have reasonable suspicion that you have drugs on your person, so you're going to get strip searched. Now, Avani's 15 years old, and Avani's not white. And this is, I mean, being strip searched at any point would be incredibly degrading and humiliating. But being this at 15 years old, with 2 female officers in the room and an appropriate adult who doesn't give a shit about you, and we kind of see how, like, usually in these situations they'd kind of like cut away, but they played it like fully straight. They played it really like agonizingly intimate and personal, as you just saw the whole process of Avani just kind of mentally just shut down as she's being forced to do this horrifically degrading thing. And the one police officer, the one policewoman, she is trying to be a bit more like, oh, it's okay, it'll be fine. But the other one is just this like, she's looking at her like it's like she assumes she just has drugs on her, and it's only a matter of time. She has no like compassion for Avani, who is, as I said before, a 15-year-old kid who's getting strip searched for drugs.
Do you reckon it's a race issue as well? Is why they showed it with her?
Well, they didn't necessarily bring up race as a problem here, but the undertones, it does feel very. Amy and Lily got off scot-free. Jack, pretty much, he probably didn't necessarily know, but he did mention the fact that Avani used to have vapes, which led them to believe she probably is carrying drugs. And obviously Jack knows Ravi and Priya, doesn't really mentions the thing about strong family values. It did feel like there was a very underlying race issue here. But they didn't explicitly make it about race. They just made it about Avani and her parents. Because like Ravi and Priya, they didn't respond to the phone either. So Avani was just stuck there by herself with no one to really support her.
Like, I don't want people to get it twisted. I'm not trying to make this a race thing. I'm just saying from the perspective, like, it's very funny that... Well, not funny. I don't want people to get the word wrong.
It's very suspect.
Yeah, it's very suspect that the two white ladies get off scot-free. Like, surely Lily would be the one that would be more suspicious. She's after having a child at 12, and is a very well. She's depressed now because she's just lost her dad. Surely I'd be more suspicious of the woman who just lost her dad dealing the drugs. And maybe that's just my hatred for Lily Slater to bring back the classic Watching Walford
but
thing.
Yeah, it's I mean, to be fair, I haven't actually seen what people think about this online. But obviously it's quite a polarizing topic. That and a part of me is half expecting people to be like, wow, GCSE acting, guys. Ugh. But no, I mean, so far everybody pretty much realizes that, hey, this is fucked up. This is fucked up. And like, obviously there were no grounds to actually strip search a 15-year-old kid whatsoever. Like, there was no grounds for it at all. It could possibly be a thing about kind of subconscious bias, like because of her background. But yeah, they did make that. They did make the police one, the white policewoman who searched her, absolutely horrific, like degrading, humiliating, dignity all gone. And obviously this Avani doesn't really know how to process. She doesn't really know how to deal with it in the aftermath.
Yeah, I'll go through the aftermath in a second. But if anyone complains, right, about Avanni, right, she handled this perfectly. Well, the actress handled her scenes perfectly.
Yeah.
Because I would
And
have...
also, we wondered why Avani's played by an older actress. You can't do this with any of the teenagers. You know what I mean?
Well, the only other one you could realistically do with is Amy, because she is 20 in real life. So
Yeah.
So
But in the show,
Yeah, in the show. So yeah. As I was saying, like, I don't want people to like complain about it, but like, oh, GCSE acting, got to grow up. You're watching a soap. I know it's not a problem, but if people generally are in the comments of this just ignoring, like, oh, it's GCSE acting or all that, just like, grow up. You're watching a soap. You're not gonna get like Fight Club levels of acting, are you? But another thing, like, I really enjoyed like seeing the perspective of like your dignity stripped away from you at such a young age. Just that would be heartbreaking, and just to make it lighthearted a little bit, that would be like me if they strip search me. They start laughing at my tattoos on my legs, my smaller friends' tattoos. Yep, or probably the size of my cock. Let's be honest. It's cold, okay. It's cold. It's cold. Just to throw that joke in there. It's a bit of a lighthearted in a very dark time. But continuing on, yeah, it's basically the parent that comes is Suki. Suki comes, collects her, and Avani wants to open up, but she can't really.
she's just shut down fundamentally. She doesn't even know where to start processing this.
Yeah, and I know. So my favorite bit is Eve being like, Eve phoning Suki and just being like, "I'm gonna destroy your life tonight. I tell you what, I've got this monstrous thing. There's a child in my car with me, Eve. Oh, sorry. Hello, Avanni. Hello, how are you?" Just like her just being flirtatious, and then Avanni's just sat there like, "Guys, I was strip searched," and then
Yeah.
then
like Suki goes through all the questions at the police station, just kind of like starting to be like, because the a higher up does kind of justify this strip search, which once again there were no grounds for it whatsoever. But they do justify it, and Sookie kind of wants to be like, "What the fuck? She's 15. She's 15." But they don't really get anywhere. They go home. And then, Sookie wants Avani to open up to her, but she just can't. Avani gets back into the house and wants to talk to Priya, but also, once again, can't really. And Priya's not really being available for her. They're just kind of joke. She wants to just joke around and watch the TV and like settle down with a mate rather than settle down with a daughter. And Avani just kind of starts lashing out, like, why don't you why don't you, basically saying, like, it's essentially the idea, like, you raised me wrong, this is why I'm in this situation. And it slowly starts to build and build and build, where Priya finally realizes that, she was strip searched, and then she immediately goes from devastated to angry in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, and she confronts Jack, and Jack's just like, well, I didn't know. I just like didn't know, mate. Wow, news to me. Wow. And Avani's like, oh,
But
no,
he tries to act like it was a reasonable thing.
He does.
Like he does defend it.
I understand people like there is nice police officers and detectives, but Walford police seem to be very, very, very like okay with this, and I'm just like, I am not trusting this police station if I get stabbed in Walford. I'm going to Milton Keynes police station. That's where I'm going, and that's even rougher, so just putting that out there. But Jack's like, oh, it's a strip search, so what? She might
just have to be done.
Yeah, and I'm sat there
going, Jack.
Just so, because obviously I told Ash I get my one out of the way fairly quickly. I guess this is the perspective of the BBC when all those nonsense come out. Ooh, there you go. There's the one joke I was gonna make. So there you go. Continuing on very quickly. Just let that joke fall right in its arse. Continuing on, but you see the perspective where Avanni wants to forget it, but Priya doesn't, and she wants to make a report. And Sookie's kind of on the same side as Priya, and Eve is kind of just an outsider. She's not really. She doesn't really know how to handle it. Obviously, she is technically a minority to an extent as well because she's a lesbian, and I don't think I need to explain that. But she doesn't really understand, and they tell her like, you should do it, and then she does it, and then Avani's like, why'd you do it, Mom? I don't want to remember this. And then Priya's like, I was just doing the right thing, and she was like, no, you're not, Mom. I really want to forget this. And Priya kind of understands but doesn't, and she basically Avani grabs a bottle of vodka from the corner shop or the Minute Martin, and she drinks it. She falls over and she stumbles into the playground where she just sits beside some like items and just falls asleep in front of some bin bags. She falls asleep with a bottle of vodka in her hand that rolls out. And then the following day, Ravi begins to worry where she is. They obviously find her, she's in the playground. Ravi brings her home. And then he kind of just... I don't really know how to word it, but he kind of just... what's the word I'm looking for? He kind of just... Yeah. What?
No, sorry.
I'm trying to think of the word here, because I think someone knocked at my door, but I just got confused.
Well... Ravi finds her, and he then is immediately like, you need to tell me what happened. And it's Ravi, so he either goes from 1 to angry in about 2 seconds, or he is actually relatively, like, nice, depending on the day. So it really does fluctuate, depending on what the writers want to do with him. And gradually, they do tell him in the end, and he sits her down and says, look, when I was 15 or whenever it was, but when I was younger, the first time I got arrested, they strip searched me too. And he goes through, he basically, what he felt is exactly what Avani is currently feeling. And him and Priya sit her down, just kind of like, look, we need to be on the same team. It's what we want to do. If you just, basically, if you keep drinking and avoiding this, like, it's going to spiral out of control, and you don't want to become like us. If I'd have dealt with this emotion, I wouldn't have like made as many bad decisions as I did, which is a really like kind of tender, cool scene. And Avani agrees, but later in the episode, she's seen buying drugs from the same guy who like got her arrested, essentially.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always sad to see when this sort of direction takes place. But how do people cope with traumatic things? People don't really talk about it most of the time, and people like to try and escape no matter which way. So yeah, it sucks. It does suck. You don't really want to see like a vulnerable kid really go through this, but also it was really, really good. So like, it was going from the week where you had the Phil Mitchell episode of really dark, bleak, being stuck like in a mental health unit, to like kind of getting better, to now having Avani getting strip searched by the police and the aftermath. It's a really bold choice, but honestly, they did a really good job of it.
Yeah, I do agree. And now I think it's time for the week in review. What do we think of this week? Obviously, I'll go first briefly, give my thoughts, and then we'll do the awards. Then we'll do the after show, and then we'll let you go. So I really enjoyed this week. It was very good. Like the between seeing what happens to Avani in Tuesday's episode, to also seeing like her just struggle to deal with it. Because it'd be horrifying no matter what situation you're in, whether you're 15, whether you're 20. Also, I'm just saying this is not the fault of EastEnders. But when anyone says she's 15 or he's 15, Ash probably looking at me going, oh no, he's not going to bring it up. I just think of Kat Slater telling Alfie that she was 15 when it happened.
Yeah.
It's all that plays in my head. It's just that Kat Slater voice going, I was 15. And obviously you get, do you blame me? And then Alfie was, yeah. So I honestly think it was a good week. I hope to see more of Phil and Nigel. I hope to see more of Avanni. Just actually process like these storylines. As it is a send off, this is Chris Gledshaw's like closing time. Really, he's slowly shutting off the lights.
Yeah, he's definitely, his episodes are gradually. It's not transitioned just yet, but I can imagine probably even like the next like couple weeks though they will be Ben Wadey episodes. You would have to imagine.
Yeah, but yeah, it's nice to see like just like I said, him just slowly turning the lights off and just slowly wrapping everything. Well, wrapping everything up to an extent. I also, I believe, and I might be wrong, believe Chris Crenshaw is in charge until at least May in the show's timeline. So, because he did mention that the Queen Vic.
He's still credited as the executive producer in Thursday's credits. So yeah, I'd imagine it'll be taken over soon. Like I said, it's what like 7 to 9 weeks roughly, and it's been it makes sense. It makes sense timeline wise for it to be around May. The Ben Wadey stuff would come on in.
I just know that I believe the Vic being rebuilt is going to be like. It's definitely Chris Crenshaw being like, yeah, this show I'm making the Queen Vic lads. I don't know. Sorry, I know I'll let you do your review in a second, but it would be really funny, right, if Chris Crenshaw rebuilds the Vic, right? He obviously does it the way Elaine would do it, and then Ben Wadey comes and goes, "We're burning it down again. We're burning it down again." But time for your review of the week. What did you think? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was an enjoyable week. I always like when they decide to tackle different topics, and it's what people want. That people complain about it. People want different things and complain when we still get the affairs, the cheating, the one night stands. People complain when we get this. When we get genuinely new things like the Walford crush, people start complaining that it's shit. Because people are unreasonable. But it was genuinely a very good week. I I'm glad that the teens are getting a focus once again, because I still believe this current crop of like soap teenagers, they are really strong. All in all, I think there's a really like very talented set of actors, and it's always a good time when they actually get a big focus and actually get to tell the story, because at the end of the day, that's what they're all there for. So, yeah, it was a really cool. Honestly, I didn't know how this final like little bit Chris Glenn show was going to go, because it's like, okay, is this actually, are we going to do anything important here? Or are we just gonna chill out for the next month? 40th anniversary's over. Now we just fart around till Ben Wadey takes over. No, full guns blazing. Like he's attempting to leave a very strong mark. And you know how before the 40th anniversary, I was like, golden era didn't happen. Probably is, honestly. At this point in time, you can probably anoint it a true golden era. It really has been pretty damn good. Yeah, sure, there are a couple of like dark spots on the canvas, but that's to be expected. He's been running like 210 episodes a year for 3 years now. But fundamentally, a very, very strong like contribution. And this week was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and now it is time for the awards. Let me just make a quick timestamp. You want to go first?
Underrated.
Sorry.
Underrated. The Keanu Taylor Award of Excellence, and Who Needs Slapping Down.
Yeah, and we'll go through it. Oh Jesus, I didn't knock my headphones off. Jesus Christ. So we'll go through it. Who's underrated for you?
Ravi for not just shouting immediately.
Very good pick. Mine is Avanni, because it's our awards. I can choose.
Yep, fair enough. Yep.
I don't think I need to explain why. The Keanu Taylor Award of
the
Keanu Taylor Award of Excellence.
The gross ass. I don't know. Actually, what even qualifies for this?
We can leave it if you want, because it was a serious topic.
Phil's quaking bones in the sparring, mate. Honestly, Phil and George actually sparring whilst having that conversation. That was great. Like they were having a great time actually, like throwing the pads around.
Mine is going for Phil's burnt sausage. They did.
True.
It
did look like charcoal.
I mean, some people probably like their sausage like that, like just charcoal. Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't. It'd be like crispy, but it'd be burnt crispy, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. There's a difference between like smoky and burnt.
Yeah, true. But sorry for all the weird camera cuts for people watching this on the band. It's just a conversation between explaining. And the last award, who needs slapping down? I'm going first. Police officers. And
yes.
Walford detective / police station.
It's a complete like miscarriage of justice. It's horrific. It's awful, and Avani did not deserve that to happen to her.
No, and continuing on. This is now the after show, because that's all the awards. That was the shortest segment of this podcast. Let's go.
Yeah. I don't know. Just this week, it's been a bit of a weird week, really. We've been fingers in many pies, especially me. So it's just been I've just been quite tired this week, really. Like I said, the script is nearly done. I just have one more entry to finish, and then I can start like drafting it, and we can actually start working on it. But for some reason, this last week, it's just like, I am now tired. It's like, oh, fuck's sake.
And then,
yeah, you're not doing anything. You're writing off all these days.
And then I got a notification from his server. Ash has gone live. Bloody hell.
I've been streaming a lot, though. Back streaming again.
Yeah.
I've picked up one of my as a speedrunner. I have been I played a game on the PS1 called World's Scariest Police Chases, which is no one played it, but it was a PS1 game. It's a drivey shooty game. You are the police and you are sorting out them criminals. And I got a world record in this game. I was the fastest time in the West until some Finnish guy called Bacon Man beat me and absolutely demolished it. But I picked it up again, and I love it. I love that game with a passion. So
Yeah, it's weird because I know Ash loves the game, and I've really wanted.
It's a shit game. It's a fucking awful. It's a very hard, short game. The world record is like 49 minutes.
I know you probably have a physical copy of the game, but I really wanted to buy you another one, so you could just have it on display as well. So you could have one that you could obviously use, and then one that's on display. Is he gonna pull out the game? Hold on. Let's go to the camera here. Oh,
It does it. Oh, it does. It does have the case.
Oh.
Yeah. The disc is in the PS2, but
that's fine.
Look at this bastard.
Huh?
I did learn that they were going to make a PC port, but bloody Activision cancelled it, the bastards.
You would have bought both versions.
Yeah, I would be playing the PC version, let's be honest.
Yeah. Well,
it also means I had to bust out my classic slim PS2, which is pink.
But like with the way people are modding like now these days, I wouldn't be surprised if someone makes an unofficial PC port. Because for reference, I believe
no one's doing that.
You're saying no one, but all I just turn around and all I see is just you going,
I'm not doing that.
But yeah, but people like just making it easier to like. I know Xbox 360 is completely different, but from what I've seen, like people are doing Xbox 360 games unofficially to PC, or officially in a sense, but not really. If at the moment it's very hard, but I wouldn't, because PS1 would be easy to just convert into an actual thing. It was not much. But yeah, I love the PS1 for how nonsensical, like they basically, you name anything and it was probably on the PS1. It was that iconic. There's about 10,000 games for it, I want to say, roughly.
Yeah, it's got a shit ton of.
Yeah.
It's just a cool console, and I don't know, like, obviously, the main game I play is Simpsons Hit and Run, which I played for like 6 years now. Sorry, I had to cough there. But like, I hadn't truly like grinded the game properly till like this last year or so. But like World Scarce, I was playing like 12 hours a day for like 3 months. It's like I need world record. There was a bounty on it, and I did get the bounty, but also I only got paid 20 quid because COVID happened. So I still need that 80 quid.
Damn.
Never getting it back.
Only got robbed. But yeah, I remember the one I watched. I think his name's Cadicarus.
Yeah.
Cadius. I forget.
Cadicarus
probably. Yeah. The guy like the beard and everything. Like he did a PS1.
Just call him Caddy.
Yeah. He did like a PS1 weird accessories. And I'm like, this is so fun, because my favorite thing I found, and I really want to get one. I'd have no space for it, but I really want to get one. But it'd be so expensive because it's a Japanese exclusive. It's a Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't know if it's Thomas the Tank Engine or it's just a regular train game, but you can get a fucking train like controller where you can move the stick up and down. It's so stupid. I'm gonna show you when we finish this like recording.
Yeah,
because it's so good. I'm gonna probably put it up on screen in a second. Train con.
But yeah, it's that's what I've been doing though. I've been back to streaming. Streaming's always good fun. I've been streaming for like 6-7 years now. Started in 2018. and I'm quite fortunate to have a very devout, like, little community who is still here, like, fucking 6 years on. It's mental. So that's been good fun, though. Has meant I've been less productive. Has meant I've been less productive with scripting, which, you know, but still, it's been a lot of good fun. It's it's a great time. Well, what have you been up to other than pulling up this?
Hold on, I'm seeing. Can I? Oh Jesus, that's horrible. Let me just mute that. I'm trying to grab this controller. Send it here. Copy image. But yeah, I've been up to nothing. Really. But there you go, Ash. There's the PS1 train controller.
Jesus, that's a full blown controller.
Yeah, look at that. That's 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 why I love the PS1. Like, literally, it was that type of shit you see on it, and it's weird. Like, but my favorite thing would, I'd love to do a deep dive on the PS1, like, accessories, because like, they just anything you could think of was probably on the PS1. And plus, it didn't die till like 2004 for the PS1, to my memory.
Yeah, it had a long shelf life.
I believe it went for 10 years, the same length that the PS2 went to. No, the PS2 went for 14 years. No, 13, because the last game came out in 2013. Jesus,
Kind of crazy.
because and you're going to be shocked by this. EA made FIFA games for the PS1 till like 2004, and they made PS2 games until 2013, which is a fun fact.
It's like how Just Dance was still being made for the Wii till like 2019.
Yeah, the last ever Wii game was Just Dance 2020. There was probably some other like indie game that was probably there, but it's mental when you look at it's mental when you look at a console's lifetime and you're like, oh, that was very short, and then you're like, wow, that was not short.
Yeah.
I just, but yeah, it's my favorite. Like, like the Tweenies got a bloody PS1 game. Bob the Builder got a PS1 game. People wanted a Fireman Sam PS1 game, but it never happened. I don't know if a Postman Pat PS1 game happened, but people really wanted for the Fireman Sam one, which I would have loved. I would have played it. He used to hear it next door. But how have I been doing? I've been doing good. I've been working on like a script of my own, not for this channel, for a wrestling channel.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Basically, I'll just the context behind it.
You did all your stuff on the script.
Yeah. Basically, and I'm getting asked to help me because I can't really describe the words properly, so I kind of get asked to kind of, he's my AI, where I filter the words through him, and he kind of AIs himself, and then just.
I just clear shit up.
Yeah, and
well, because I know how Piggy works. Piggy's really good at saying what you. Piggy will over-explain the shit that's really simple, and then not explain the stuff that actually needs like an extra bit of description to it.
But it's a feud in wrestling that I love so much, and if you want to know, I'll just quickly run through it. So there was this wrestler called MJF, and in kayfabe, so in the wrestling world, his favorite
kayfabe.
Yeah, in the wrestling world, it's called kayfabe.
No one knows what that means.
Yeah, where kayfabe is where like a wrestler's like backstory is their backstory.
Well, it's the whole pretense that wrestling's real. So if in this real setting, this is the backstory.
Yeah, and basically the context is MJF watched his favorite wrestler leave the company, CM Punk, leave the company in 2014, because Punk was injured. And I'm not going into that because that can be another video for its entire self, because that fallout was bloody mental. And basically, in the sense where wrestling is real, he became a wrestler to despise CM Punk. And the entire feud is what happens when you have a stan, a fan who loves you so much, and then he becomes to hate you, becomes the biggest thing to despise you. Like, it's just a fantastic feud. it's up there as my like all-time favorite feud in wrestling. Like it's probably like people will say it's the pinnacle of well, not the pinnacle, but people would say it's probably one of the best storylines in recent years. I just love it so much. Just like, and it does so many callbacks to like when Punk was in these other companies doing all these other things, and it's just wonderful. I need to like start watching all the segments and going through like why they hate each other. I bought it. I just love it. And then someone did like an edit to Stan, and I'm like, yes. Because Stan is the perfect song to put it to. Like your biggest fan is now your biggest Stan and your biggest hater.
But yeah, it's basically a story of a scorned fan who just becomes like one of his biggest like enemies.
Yes.
And it like tricks him into believing like, no, I loved you. And you left me, and then
fuck it, I'm getting sad. That's my favorite promo.
In the end, it just he proves to just be worse. He proves to be worse than he thought he did.
Yeah,
he suckers him in. He plays coy, and then flips on him in the end.
Yeah, because I'd recommend. I don't know when the date is, but I recommend anyone watching. Like, if you ever want to watch a promo, any wrestling promo, just watch that promo where he's playing the fans. Because he's obviously a heel. If you don't know what a heel is, he's a bad guy. It's like a bad guy. You're not supposed to root for him. You're supposed to boo him. You're supposed to hate him. And he lures the fans in to think that he's opening up about the lowest moment in his life because he's a Jewish wrestler, right? Oh no, this could go bad. But he's a Jewish wrestler, and obviously he was picked on in school. So he lures the fans into thinking, oh, he was bullied, and he basically got upset when his favourite person left. And he said, you left me, you left all of us. And he also says, like, people will throw quarters at him and say, pick it up, Jew boy, pick it up. And you're like, oh my god. And then obviously his biggest fan comes out and goes, is this real? Is this real? And then the following week, he does the thing that Punk did on someone else. I forget who does it on an ROH, where he lowers him in, he hugs him, kicks him in the dick, and then goes, the biggest trick the devil ever pulled is making you people think he didn't exist. And I'm like, whoa. And it just, it's
a full-on, like, swerve.
Yeah. And then you get the visual where they obviously bust him open, so he's covered in blood, but they're also hanging him, like, with a dog cutter. And I'm like, oh, yes. But I love it so much. I don't know how I can talk about it without being just, like, a fan of it. Because I have to try and not get giddy about it. But yeah, it's so good. Also, I've just been waiting on the script to be finished for Ash. Just so I can start recording my lines. I've not been doing much else either. That's just mainly it. I did want to bring up, and I did ask Ash, could I jokingly bring this up, and he said yeah. So I'm not gonna like dive into American politics, but I'm just briefly gonna bring this up. Where two people want Elmo and Sesame Street defunded. Those two people are a famous guy who thinks he's everyone's favourite person, but everyone dislikes him. And he's trying so hard to get people to like him. And another woman, which I don't know her name. And basically, this Lib Dem, which I believe is a liberal Democrat, had to jokingly go into like Congress, I think it's Congress, and confront the PBS owner and be like, does Elmo like sharing with his friends? And it's like, yes. Does that make him a communist? No. And then it's like, the Cookie Monster. Now RFK is saying that we can enjoy sweet treats. What is your thoughts? He's like, he's a fucking Cookie Monster. And then it's like, and my favourite one is they get to Bert and Ernie, which, if you don't know, there's been a theory online for years that Bert and Ernie are not friends. They're merely shackers. They're basically lovers. And my favourite thing is this guy, and I want to know how he pulled it off with a straight face without laughing. He goes, is Bert and Ernie a part of some deviant rabid homosexuality group vendetta to push against their children? And the one's just sitting there like, no. Right? Because the equivalent would be like if in the UK they brought to Parliament like Blobby. It's like, okay, should we defund Blobby? He's like, no, he's a fucking alien. It's just a funny thing I've seen. And then the end of it just says, save Elmo, fire Elon, which I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But I'm just, I just got the visual of just imagining just some guy in a blobby suit showing up to like Parliament in the UK, just being like, yeah, turning up to number 10 Downing Street, like blobby, blobby, blobby.
Yeah.
But that's why they got looked at, which I enjoyed. I also see that they also want to lower child labour laws in Florida. Let's go. Which I'm just gonna leave there. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've just been vibing. I'm wearing my Brian Pillman t-shirt. Brian Pillman is another one of my favourite wrestlers. There is a t-shirt that you could probably want to see next week that I bought, which is it's a parody t-shirt because it's kind of a political t-shirt, but not really. And I can't wait to just wear it because if people get mad, they get mad. But yeah, that's mainly my bit.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, not really much else to report. It's been quite a chill week. I think my deep investment in Grey's Anatomy is quickly coming to an end. Unfortunately, I've got to find a new show to watch.
What is it?
As I put it out at around season 12. Don't know what the new show will be. But it's slowly petering out, but that's fine. I've been watching it since like October, so it's been a long-term investment. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's where we end off the podcast, really. Like, not much has changed, much more of the same. We're still doing all the stuff we said we were doing. It's just been a chill week. The weather's been nice. It's been nice and sunny. I'm wearing shorts right now. It's been fucking lovely.
Me too. Want to show off the shorts?
No.
Want to do a headstand?
Don't want anybody to get any feet.
I'm wearing shorts as well. My tattoos are not showing, so yeah.
It's been a good week, been a good time. Hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. Hope you join us for all of next week's videos, etc., etc. Keep watching the channel. Thank you for being here. Big love, big appreciations. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.